People like games.
Do we have an intro for this, like a proper intro or anything?
I think that's it.
Is this we in it? All right, folks. What's up? It has been a minute, to say the least, since I feel like I've recorded. I know you guys all listen to Reggie on a weekly basis.
Yeah, but it's been a minute since we've both been on.
Yeah, damn. When was the last time? Doesn't matter. This is sidequest, brought to you by, as you can see on the shirt, People Like Games. I'm Solo.
I'm Reggie.
And this is a new series that is going to just focus on a singular topic, because a lot of interesting, cool, etc. things happen all the time, and questions pop up that we want to talk about in the form of content and don't really have a means to do it. So we figured, why not just drop off on the occasion, a focus on a singular topic. Today, it being grading games, game grading. How would you define it? Reggie, you know this. What do you call this process?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of hard to explain to people sometimes who don't really understand, but
What
it's the same
is
thing
game
as-
grading? Question one. Make it happen. Teach folks.
So I'm sure most people who we're talking to right now are going to know what like PSA is, which is the company that grades baseball cards, basketball cards, stuff like that. We've all known for like years and years and years, decades now at this point, that graded cards with a good enough grade go for tons and tons of money. We've seen it with Pokemon cards over the last couple of months because of the whole Logan Paul thing. Guy wore a PSA mint Charizard to the fight with Floyd Mayweather. So that just put it even more on the map afterwards. But that's besides the point. Over the last about 2 years or so, that's been blowing up with sealed video games. And it's like these right here. You've probably seen some images of them recently, honestly, because the record's been set, I think, 4 times in the last 12 months.
If you're a sports fan, sports cards, any form of memorabilia, autograph, you've seen that casing. So hold that one up. So people know this casing right here with the little grade on it, like every version of grading.
It's actually, so since you bring that up, I'll explain this real quick. The way it's actually graded.
Well, that's going to be our third question, because first we're going to say,
so we'll hold
who
up then.
who does the grading of games? What are the companies involved? Because PSA is the name of the company for sports, right?
Well,
So now explain. I don't know any of this.
All right, so let's start from the top. The first original one that is probably the most abundant right now, but is quickly getting taken over, is VGA. They graded on a 1 to 100 scale, but you would see your grade as like an 80 plus, 85 plus. So it wasn't as down to the digit specific as some people like. But for a while, they were really like the only kid on the block doing it. In recent years, we've gotten WADA, which is what these games are graded by. The case is a little nicer. It's a little more durable, I think.
What does WADA stand for?
You know, that's one thing I couldn't tell you.
That's hilarious, because I just think of, was Wawa or Waga sandwiches?
Wawa, yeah.
Wawa
I love
sandwiches, yeah.
Wawa.
Exactly. I keep hearing that. I'm like, what is this? What does Wawa mean? What does WADA mean? What does VGA mean?
Video Game Association? Not 100%
We're gonna find
sure.
out what Wawa means for you people. And WADA.
Here, we'll pull it out of the plastic for a bit of a better look.
All right, so this is WADA, and they grade it out of what scale?
So it's a 1 to 10 scale. The digits are used. So this is an 8.0. This box right here, this rating, the number, is for the box itself. The rating over here, the lettered rating, is for the seal on the game. It's probably hard to tell, but you can see right here. That is the seam of the plastic that's still on the game, the original plastic, and it runs towards the back. This is harder to see it coming across the back here, but that's an H seam.
Well, with baseball cards, etc., it's a little different because there's no packaging involved, right? So for some of these games, what is the requirement for it to be able to be graded, which is going to actually make me ask the question to of who made these guys official. What is this grading process based off of? So those are my two questions.
That's kind of the shady thing about the whole thing right now. It's like, it's kind of just been happening and people have been trusting it. And most of the time it's accurate. You can tell when a game is really in good condition versus when it's not, obviously. But at the same time, from what I understand, WADA uses people to grade it rather than machines. I believe VGA uses machines, which obviously gives you a bit more of an accuracy difference. But right now, WADA is the popular and more trusted one and the more valuable one.
Now, so basically now you're talking about the transparency grading. These games, you could just send in any game to get graded. Like I got like an old copy of like Kingdom Hearts 2. Can I just throw that out there?
One company will do sealed inbox. We'll do inbox unopened. But I believe WADA, I could be wrong, only does sealed games.
Okay.
VGA will do both. VGA you can get a lot more graded with right now.
Interesting.
WADA currently doesn't do DS games from what I understand, except on special occasions, which your boy may be involved in.
Woo! Show them, but don't state it. If anybody is watching this and they are interested in what they're seeing,
it'll be on eBay.
Like games, ask for Reggie. Pokemon.
This is my baby right here.
I don't know exactly what that is, but it does make me ask. Now you have that thing in a box and now it's worth suddenly more money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was the arbiter of this fucking process? Why are WADA, and VGA, the two people allowed to suddenly say, yo, we're doing, how come you and I can't just set up here and be like, yo, send us some games. I'll tell you what I think. I didn't like this game. This gets a B.
So there are more springing up as we speak. I know there are some that have been announced. I couldn't give you any specific names, but there are people who are trying to put their foot in the game. WADA is interesting in that they have a deal with Heritage Auction House. So that gives them a high degree of credibility and probably contributes to why they've taken over VGA, because they have a direct line to Heritage Auction.
Were either of these two companies involved, Wawa or VGA, in, I'm just going to refuse to say the name on purpose now, with the recent sale of that Super Mario 64 seal version, which broke the record for most expensive game of all time at like 1 point something mil?
Not only was it that one, it was the Zelda that came before it and the Super Mario 3 that came before that.
Okay, tell me what happened and which of the companies were involved in that?
It was all WADA, and they sold at the Heritage Auction House.
Interesting.
And those were, so Super Mario 3, I believe, broke 500,000, 560 maybe, I could be wrong. Previous to that, the highest sold game was about like 100,000 maybe. Then it hit around like 500,000. Then when it came to Zelda, it broke 800,000. And then Super Mario 64, the most recent one, hit 1.56 million.
And those were all WADA?
Yes.
Interesting. Maybe
WADA's go for more money.
I was gonna say maybe the access to the
auction
is
house.
The owner of WADA in any way associated with the Heritage Auction House?
That's I'm not sure, honestly.
Honestly, if they were.
Well,
shout out to you guys, because that's basically money laundering at that point. To be like, if I gave you a game and you're the grader, and I'm like, yo, grade this for.
I would suspect that it's sketchy. But the new wrench in everything is that PSA, the company that we mentioned in the beginning that does sports grading, is now buying WADA.
Interesting. PSA is buying WADA.
Yes. Rather than VGA, who's been around for a while.
And then...
So it's PSA going right back to Heritage Auction through WADA.
PSA already had a relationship with Heritage?
I I would imagine so, seeing as they're the biggest ones. But
Was the
now,
buyer
even if they didn't, now they've got a hand right in the bed.
and the buyers related to any of these companies
The buyers
of the game, of that Mario game, they're not related to anybody in the companies in any manner.
I know it was some guy that's actually in a Facebook group that I'm in
Interesting.
for gaming. So if you want to look at that kind of stuff, if you're interested, High End Game Room on Facebook is a great community to start looking around and checking out what people are selling, what people are looking for. There's a lot of people that give great advice on like certain games that you should look out for that could be fake, certain ways to recognize a sealed game versus not. There's a lot of things I know, but there's a lot of random crazy facts about certain games where one game was wrapped differently for no apparent reason.
So the basic premise point that we're going to come to the conclusion of is that it is a thoroughly sketchy process resembling of a partial pyramid scheme with regards to, actually no, more so money laundering with how its valuation is sort of.
It's before I make any hard conclusions on that, because I
He's
don't know the
speaking for himself. I'm speaking for myself, and neither of us are speaking for people like games
that I am not sure of that you asked me about. If I didn't know, which I don't, I am sketched out by it. It is sketchy because I don't know that information. If I were to find out something that told me otherwise, that they weren't related, I'd still be sketched out, but not as much. But I definitely it's definitely still a hairy situation at the end of the day.
I mean, I feel like it's bound to be, especially because there's no rules, because it's like what I'm saying, right? It's like when
this isn't regulated yet. This is people are buying through eBay. I bought this Pokemon game on Mercari.
Who regulates PSA? The government?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, who, at the end of the day, I know this is the whole grand question about memorabilia. It's all speculation. Who are you trusting to grade these things? And what's their criteria?
Valuing? And what is the value of anything when there is no function? This is why I always say we erred at Bretton Woods by taking us off the gold standard. Money's irrelevant now. No, I'm just kidding. For those of you unaware, look up Bretton Woods Conference.
But it's just like how NFTs popped off for a second. But this physical memorabilia is always going to be different than an NFT, at least in this generation. For right now, people love the physical stuff because it brings back the nostalgia.
I die, which is what I've been saying. And it's also not only because of the nostalgia, one, because collectors system nostalgia. It's also because digital is just become increasingly sketchy with access. So over time,
and DRM management and all that stuff,
But so we had Wawa, we had VGA, we had PSA, we had Heritage, we had one of them was 100 grading scale. That was VGA, and the other one was out of 10, and that was WADA.
Yes, with the 2-grade system.
What did we learn here? I'm not sure. Maybe someone who was listening.
Game grading is sketchy, but you stand to make a lot of money if you play your cards right. If you do your research on what is a real sealed game versus what isn't, you spend your money smart, you buy a game that you think is going to go for good money, and you get that money and then you reinvest. All these games, I love this Pokemon game to death. I wish I could keep it, but it's going to be worth way too much to the future of the money that is potentially made off of this. This is a huge market that only is standing to continue to blow up right now.
Are you a sneakerhead? You basically get the shit, son.
If you were ever a sneakerhead, you know exactly what this is.
Exactly. So get in before it becomes more popular and increasingly prices itself out, as more and more people add the layers to actually being profitable.
And if you saw what happened with Pokemon cards because of one internet celebrity, imagine what's going to happen with these when the record is already breaking over $1.5 million.
100%. Now we're just going to wait for the rapper to wear that on a chain. And we out here. Anyway, that's all we got. That was SideQuest. It'll be quick. We back out. It's People Like Games. everywhere at yada 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 PLG.GG. Go listen to the new Vince Staples. By the way, before we leave, should I buy Persona 5 Royale? Yes or no?
Persona 5. Is that the? Oh no, I'm thinking of Strikers is the fighting one, right?
Yeah, it's just like the upgraded version, like the deluxe edition.
Didn't you give me Persona 5?
Yeah, I know, but Persona 5 Royale is on sale now
How much is
on
it?
Amazon. 25.
Oh, that's so worth.
I know, right? Okay, boom. Folks, we'll be back with the reviews and other stuff and whatnot. All right. Peace.
Peace.